Hurricane Erin has moved on. The winds have died down in many places. The immediate danger has passed for those in its direct path. But I need you to hear this loud and clear. This is not the time to let your guard down. The Atlantic Ocean is still a cauldron of activity. It is a vast, powerful engine. It is far from finished for the season. The air is thick with moisture. The water is exceptionally warm. These are the ingredients that fuel monster storms. We cannot afford to become complacent just because one storm has passed. Another one could be right behind it, silently gathering strength over the horizon, waiting for its moment to strike. Think of the hurricane season like a marathon, not a sprint. Hurricane Erin was a formidable force of nature. It carved a path of significant impact across the areas it touched. At its peak, it was a major hurricane, terrifying winds and torrential rain. Now Erin has weakened significantly. It is moving away, a post-tropical cyclone over colder North Atlantic waters. Its formidable structure is gone. It no longer poses a direct hurricane threat, but you cannot simply erase the effects of such a powerful storm. The storm's legacy lingers in the communities that faced its fury, a story of resilience and deep, lasting impact. Coastal areas experienced significant storm surge. Homes and businesses flooded. Infrastructure took a heavy hit. Roads washed out, power lines torn down, hundreds of thousands in the dark. Winds ripped roofs from houses, massive trees were toppled, inland areas saw incredible rainfall, flash flooding struck. Cleanup and recovery will be long and arduous. Beyond physical damage, there's an emotional and psychological toll. Communities are pulling together, strength and spirit. The road back to normal is long. So how do we even begin to look for the next storm? It might seem like trying to find a needle in a haystack, given the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean, but it is a very deliberate and scientific process. We start by looking at the big picture. We use our advanced satellite technology to see the atmosphere in motion. After a hurricane like Erin moves through an area, it disrupts the atmospheric pattern. It pulls a lot of moisture and energy with it. This can create a sort of atmospheric void or a changed environment in its wake. We are looking for where the conditions are settling back down and becoming favorable for new development. Our search is guided by powerful computer models. These models are constantly running, crunching immense amounts of data from satellites, weather balloons, and ocean buoys. They simulate the future state of the atmosphere and give us a weather map of the days ahead. We look for areas where the models are consistently pointing to a drop in atmospheric pressure. A drop in pressure is a fundamental sign that air is rising, and rising air leads to clouds and thunderstorms. If that process becomes organized and sustained over warm water, it can be the genesis of a tropical depression, the first stage of a hurricane. One of the key things we watch for is a tropical wave, ripples in the atmosphere that travel from east to west. They roll off the coast of Africa every few days, and we track them from that moment. Think of it like being a detective, looking for clues in vorticity fields, SSTs, and model indicators. A hurricane like Erin can sometimes clear the way, reducing wind shear and leaving behind calm conditions. Exactly what a budding storm needs. So ironically, the passage of one major storm can set the stage for the next. We combine big-picture satellite views with detailed model predictions and tropical wave tracking to narrow our focus. This multi-layered approach lets us go from ocean-wide to specific target areas of concern. The message is one of urgency and continued awareness. Right now, our eyes are intensely focused on a specific and very concerning stretch of the Atlantic Ocean. This is what we call the Main Development Region, or MDR. We watch the west coast of Africa closely, and the Caribbean Sea, including the Lesser Antilles. It is the primary breeding ground for the most powerful and long-lived Atlantic hurricanes. August, September, October, peak months of the season. Hurricane Erin itself was born from a disturbance that emerged from this region. The conditions here are once again becoming dangerously ripe for tropical development. We're paying particularly close attention to the central and eastern parts of the MDR. Any storm that forms here has a very long runway of warm water to cross. That gives it ample time and fuel to intensify, potentially into a major hurricane. A small cluster leaving Africa can grow into a monstrous storm. We look for signs of rotation and heavy convection, overshooting tops and tall thunderclouds. Category 4, Category 5. By the time it nears the Caribbean or the US, it can be extremely dangerous. Early detection is absolutely critical. We watch this area with hawk-like intensity. Right now, we are seeing a new, vigorous tropical wave preparing to move off the African coast. It already shows signs of rotation and heavy thunderstorm activity. and the waters ahead are warmer than average. When we identify a hot zone, we then zoom in. We look for very specific signs, clouds beginning to swirl and organize. The most important of these is the sea surface temperature. Hurricanes are heat engines. They draw their energy from warm ocean water, generally at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit. About 26.5 degrees Celsius is the usual threshold. Right now, many places are closer to 84 or 85 degrees. This excess heat provides supercharged fuel, increasing the odds of rapid intensification. Next, we analyze the winds, looking for low shear and favorable upper air patterns. Low wind shear allows a storm to build its vertical structure and strengthen. We also look for low-level convergence, winds coming together at the surface. When the air converges, it goes up, creating towering cumulonimbus clouds. That first step, a developing cluster, is crucial. We watch IR satellite. Very cold cloud tops mean tall, vigorous thunderstorms. When thunderstorms wrap around a center, a circulation is forming, often hours from a named system. Finally, we check moisture. A developing storm needs a rich supply of humid air. Dry air, like Saharan dust, can starve a storm, and so we watch for intrusions. Right now, the air over the MDR is loaded with tropical moisture, humid and unstable. Warm water, low shear, early rotation, and deep moisture. All the ingredients are coming together. Blinkers are flashing red. Once a storm forms, the immediate question becomes, where is it going to go? This is where forecast models become indispensable. We run dozens of models, each with slightly different inputs, producing an ensemble of possible tracks. Early on, the uncertainty is large. Tracks can fan out like spaghetti. A developing storm far out at sea could either curve north and miss land. That is the best-case scenario, but steering currents change. The Bermuda High can build and force storms west. A strong ridge can act like a wall, steering a storm toward the Caribbean and the US. A more westerly track is far more dangerous. It could target the Lesser Antilles, Barbados, St. Lucia, the Virgin Islands. From there, it could enter the Gulf, threatening Mexico and the US Gulf Coast from Texas to Florida. Alternatively, it could turn northwest through the Bahamas toward Florida and points up the East Coast. The risks to people are immense: destructive winds, storm surge, torrential rainfall, even tornadoes. Widespread power outages, supply disruptions, and displacement of communities are real outcomes. That is why every disturbance in the what-if stage is treated with utmost seriousness. The stakes are simply too high to do otherwise. We will continue to follow model guidance, update our forecasts, and alert communities. Prepare now, not later. It is easy to look at satellite maps and models as a scientific exercise, but we must never forget what is truly at stake. This is not just about weather patterns. It is about people, homes, communities, businesses, lives. Every line on that spaghetti plot points toward real places where people live their daily lives. They might be completely unaware that a storm brewing thousands of miles away could change everything. This is the human element, the reason we do what we do. Staying alert isn't about living in fear. It is about respect for nature and proactive protection. It is about taking steps now to protect yourself and loved ones. A hurricane is one of the few disasters we can often see coming days in advance, and that lead time is a gift. Use that window to prepare supplies, evacuation plans, and communication strategies. Every year we hear stories of people who waited too long. We want to prevent those stories. Neighbors helping neighbors can save lives. Think about what is at risk: your home, your family, infrastructure you rely on. Even if you live inland, heavy rain and rivers can destroy communities. This is why we urge everyone, coastline to inland, to follow forecasts all season. Awareness is your first line of defense. Awareness is the first step, but action is what truly saves lives. Having a game plan should not wait until a storm is approaching. Prepare today. Your family playbook removes panic and guesswork. First, determine your risk. Are you in an evacuation zone, vulnerable to surge, flooding, or high winds? Assemble a disaster kit with food, water, medication, radio, flashlights, batteries, and first aid supplies. Keep important documents in a waterproof container. Designate an out-of-state contact and a meeting place. Text messages often get through better than calls. Know your evacuation plan, where you'll go, friends, hotel, or shelter. Map your route and an alternate. Keep your car's fuel tank full. Prepare your home, board windows, secure loose objects, prioritize safety over property. If local officials order evacuation, do not wait. Your life matters more than belongings. Check your kit, review plans with family, and help neighbors prepare. Small actions now mean safety later. So we come back to the present moment. The date is August 27th, 2025. Hurricane Erin is a memory, but the Atlantic is wide awake. We are watching a new hot zone far out at sea. The water is warm, the air is moist, the environment is increasingly favorable. This is not about causing fear, it is about urgency and empowerment. Knowledge is your best defense. We will provide constant updates across TV, web, and mobile. Check forecasts daily and enable alerts. Use this calm to prepare. Check your kit, review plans, and decide when to evacuate if needed. Be smart, be ready, be safe. We are watching the tropics for you. Stay alert.